Well, welcome everybody to Reach and Read. My name is Katie and I work at the Sacramento Public Library where books are just the beginning. We're so excited to have you here and to have local yoga instructor Kat Sun with us today, and we will get to her in just a moment. But first, I wanted to mention a few things. So first is just some housekeeping, especially if it is your first time joining us for this program. So we are doing this in a webinar format, so all participant microphones and video have been disabled. So if you have a question, you can feel free to use the Q&A button that you'll find at the bottom of your screen, and either myself or Kat will get back to you. If you're having any audio related issues, please exit the program and re-enter. We find that doing that will typically solve that issue. If you need closed captioning at any point during the program, please click the live transcript button that you'll find at the bottom of your screen. You'll click that button, wait just a moment, and then you'll see the closed captioning pop up and you can follow along. And also, this program is being recorded and will be shared to our virtual yoga playlist that's available on our YouTube channel. And in case you haven't visited our YouTube channel, you can find us under Sacramento Public Library. And make sure to stick around after the yoga demonstration for this week's question to help you take your friendships to the next level. And also, I wanted to mention, since we are getting to the end of this series of Reach and Read, that I'm going to be sending out an email survey to everybody who has participated. And it will have a link to our next session that is coming up in mid-April. So please feel free to share your thoughts and feedback with us. We always appreciate hearing from you. And I did just want to share that Sacramento Public Library is a Healthy People 2030 champion, meaning that we are doing our part to help the community lead healthier lives. And the CDC recommends that adults get 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity and 2 days of muscle strengthening activity per week. And getting or staying active can have great short-term and long-term benefits to your health. And you're about to get 45 minutes of movement, so you're on the right path. So kudos to all of you. And more information is available at health.gov/moveyourway. And I wanted to share that we have lots of health resources available at the library. Like I mentioned, we have tons of past recordings of virtual yoga programs available on our YouTube channel, so you can go over there and check them out or share them with a friend. We do virtual Zumba on Mondays at 5:30 and virtual Zumba Gold on Wednesdays at 4, which is great for beginners and older adults to join. We're also doing a monthly journaling for mental health program now through June. So if you're into mindfulness practices, art journaling, that's a great one to join. And of course, you can check out a book about the benefits of exercise, mindfulness, and yoga from the library collection. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you and turn things over to Kat. So Kat, take it away, and everyone, please enjoy.
Great. Thank you so much, Katie. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here and joining us. As always, I'm offering this session from my home, so please excuse any extraneous sounds you might hear from neighbors, pets, my father, or any other kind of random sounds. And as always, we're going to want to have some props around. So, of course, your yoga mat, comfortable clothing, bare feet once we come up to standing. I like to have a yoga blanket. You can also use like a big beach towel or any kind of a firm blanket you have. Then firm blanket, a couple of yoga blocks if you have them, a yoga strap or a belt you wear around your waist, or a dog leash, anything to help extend your reach will be helpful. Okay, and this series, as Katie mentioned, is focused on friendship. And so today we're going to just focus on kind of opening our hearts a bit, right? So that we are in a space where we can connect. So with that, let's go ahead. This morning, we're going to start with a little bit of a heart opener, just as we settle in. I'm going to show some different options you can take. So first option is if you do have 2 yoga blocks at home and you feel open enough to come into this, I will show you this option first, and then I'll show you some alternative options, okay? So the first option is if you're going to use your yoga blocks, then you're going to have your one block on the lowest height setting, and it's going to be going horizontal. This is going to be for underneath your shoulder blades. And then the second block will be about maybe 3-4 inches away, and you can have it on the second height setting, You might find that's not high enough for your head, in which case you can put a blanket or like a cushion over it. Or if it's still not high enough, you can turn it on to the higher power setting, and that's going to be for your head. And then now I'll demo how you're going to come into that. So you're going to come onto the floor in front of the block, a little distance away, and as you lay back, you basically want the bottom of your shoulder blades to be with the bottom of the block so that your shoulders are resting on the block. So it would look like this. It's gonna be like this, and here my bottom tips of my shoulder blades are right there, and then here's the bottom edge of the block. So my whole plate of my shoulder blades are resting on the support of the block. Then the second block, you can see it's a little distance away, so it's not jamming the back of my neck, and it's here for my head. Now, like I said, for some people that might not be high enough, in which case you can have a blanket to lift your head, or you can turn the block onto the higher setting to support you. And then you can just have your arms resting to the sides. You can have your knees bent, feet on the floor, knees knocking in. You can have your legs straight, or you can have the soles of the feet together with your knees out. If you're coming into this Supta Baddha Konasana kind of position, it's good maybe to have some support underneath the knees, in which case you can have some rolled up blankets or cushions, just so that this is supported, even if you're really flexible and open. Okay, so now if this is too intense for you, then, or you don't have the blocks, another option is you can take a blanket, or like I said, a big beach towel, and you can just roll it up a few times. And then if you still need something for your head, you can have another blanket or a little cushion for your head. And then again, you're gonna have some distance, and here my shoulder blades will be on this, and then my arms can come through, right? So it's gonna look like this. So here, so just the armpit hangs over the top, and then my arms can rest to the side, and then I have a little something for my head. And this creates a little bit of opening here, but it's not too much. And it's just something nice you can settle into. So again, you take maybe a thin, firm blanket or a big beach towel, and you just fold it into the skinny setup, or even roll it, and then something else maybe for your head, and a little distance in between. You get your shoulder blades onto the blanket, let your the armpits hang right over the top edge of that. The arms can just rest, and then the head on the support as well. And once you're right into whichever variation of this you're coming into, just allow yourself to settle in. And if you are using the blanket roll, again, you're in control of how high you roll, or you don't have to roll it up quite so high. So find the setup that really works for your body, something that you can settle into as we begin. So once you arrive into whichever position, whichever setup you've got, take a moment to land. So as you settle in, let's just take a nice deep breath in through our nose. And we clear it out through the mouth. Make some noise if you're okay with sounding a little. You can inhale. And just haw it out, sigh it out. Let's all haw. So inhaling. And again, that feels good. You can take a few more of those. And then as you settle in, just noticing now your back body on the earth. Notice where your body is making contact with the support underneath you. Always taking a moment to really arrive and connect into our grounding. So here, noticing where your body is touching the earth, and just soften into that earth. Here we're in a sort of a more restorative posture. So feel the back of your skull spreading. Let the back of the neck be nice and long, no crunching. So if your back of your neck is crunching and your chin's jutting above your forehead, especially if you've got the lift under your heart, but nothing under your head, you might find this, like your chin's jutting way up and the front of the throat's really open and the back of neck is cramped. If that's happening, very important to make sure you get something behind your head so that the forehead and chin are at the same level, or the forehead is even a little bit higher than the chin. Because when got the chin above the forehead jutting up like that, that sends a signal to the nervous system to be in fight or flight. And we want to actually send a message to the nervous system that we're safe and we can rest and heal and digest. So just allowing yourself to really settle in. And as you settle in, starting to notice your breath now, the natural breath as it moves in and out, without changing or forcing anything, just starting to observe that breath as it flows in and the breath as it flows out. So always taking a moment to just connect in where we're at, connecting in with our breath, cultivating that intimacy with our breath, cultivating our inner listening, that inner communication, tuning into the inner wisdom of the body and what it's communicating. So starting to notice how your body feels here. And also just take a beat and tune into your mental emotional body as well this morning. But just taking it all in as information. Good. And here in this position now, you can notice with the heart kind of broadening, just imagine your collarbones spreading, the heart becoming really nice and buoyant, the belly soft, the diaphragm soft. Let's take a few more rounds of breath here. As you breathe here now, you can really feel the breath moving down through the front body. So as you inhale and fill out the lungs, the diaphragm presses down, pressing the belly out. As you exhale and the air exits out of the lungs, the diaphragm comes back up into the ribs, allowing the belly to sink back down towards the spine. So just riding the wave of your breath a few more cycles. And you might even want to open your mouth and wiggle out your jaw a little, maybe stretch out your tongue, stretch out your face. And as you let your mouth close, just let your tongue and your tongue be nice and soft. Imagine your tongue is short and broad. The back of the throat is soft. Dome of the mouth is spacious. And you soften around your eyes. Relax the muscles of the forehead. Allow any thoughts begin to slide off the forehead into the earth as you continue to tune in to your breath. Tune into how your body feels in this moment, right here, right now. And then from here, let's go ahead and inhale our arms up towards the sky. And then we're going to interlace our fingers and press our palms up towards the ceiling. And then take a nice shoulder circle and slide your shoulder blades down the back. Keep pressing your palms up towards the sky, pressing up through the index finger mound faster than the pinky side of the hand, almost like you want to peel the pinky side of the hand down towards your face as you press up through the index finger side of the palm. Let the eyes of the elbows face each other, so the inner elbows are facing in towards each other. And can you start to hug the elbows in towards each other? Keep your shoulder blades sliding down the back, away from your ears. Let's go ahead. If your knees are bent and it's okay for you to straighten your legs, you can straighten the legs. If that doesn't work for your back, keep your knees bent. And whether your legs are straight or bent, we're going to inhale as we take the arms up overhead, pressing the hands now up towards the crown of the head, same direction as the crown of the head, towards the top of the mat. If your legs are straight, flexing your feet as you press out through your inner heels and balls of the big toe. And let's take a breath in here. And as you exhale, release your arms by the side. And then again, inhale your arms up to the sky and interlace your fingers with the other thumb on top. And when you're ready, press the palms up towards the ceiling again, back of the hands facing you, pressing up through the index finger mound a little bit faster, eyes of the elbows facing in, shoulder blades slide down the back, same as before. And then again, as you inhale, breathing, taking the arms up overhead. Nice long stretch. Good. And then exhale, release your arms by the side. From here, let's go ahead and bend the knees. Whether you're on the block or you're down lower on the blanket, you can bring your right hand behind the head and start to roll over to the right. So you can let your right elbow ground and then slide off the blocks and curl off to the side here. And then we'll press into the left hand in order to come on up to a comfortable seat. Once you're up, let's go ahead and sit up on a little lift. If it's better for you to be in a chair, you can always sit in a chair. If you're sitting on the ground, then sitting on a little blanket or a cushion, and come to the front edge. If it's comfortable for your legs to be crossed, you can cross. Or if you prefer actually to be with your knees together, feet apart, that works as well. So just finding a comfortable seat, excuse me, and hopefully you have your strap nearby for when we're gonna want it in a moment. So once you come into your seat, allow yourself again to arrive into the seated posture now. So now feel your spine in vertical. Start to find the front edge of your sit bone. So rocking towards the front edge of the sit bone. As you rock towards the front edge of the sit bone, you'll feel your low back naturally starting to arch in towards the spine. Can you let your shoulder blades slide down the back body? Maybe take a big shoulder circle. Shoulder blades sliding down the back body. Let the buttock flesh also slide down towards the earth. And then in the front body now, can you start to hug your navel back towards the spine and spread it into the back body, and then a slight lift, just gently. As you do that, imagine again you're broadening through the collarbones, the heart's buoyant. But here now, if you find yourself kind of arching too much and you're collapsing through the mid back here, can you broaden into this kidney band? So broaden into this mid back region, like as if you're spreading from the spine out. As you let your front floating ribs, these front floating ribs here, let them soften. Good. And then again, big shoulder circle. Let's go ahead now. Inhale, arms out and up. And as we exhale, palms together, slide it down through your midline and touch the earth or send your hands towards the earth. Exhale. Again, inhale. Reach up and gather. Exhaling, bring that energy down through you and into the earth. One more time. Imagine yourself as this beautiful intermediary between heaven and earth. See yourself as this channel of energy flowing between earth and heaven. This time, inhale, arms out and up. And as you exhale, bring your palms down together in front of your heart, pressing the palms towards each other as you let your thumbs maybe rest against your sternum. Again, shrug your shoulder blades down the back body, navel gently in and up. Now imagine the sides of the throat sliding back and up behind the ears as you lengthen the back of the neck and back of the skull up, reaching the crown of the head up for the sky. Just pause here now. Take a beat. Oh, I'm so sorry. Tune into your heart center and take a beat now. And let me see if I can quiet the dog. Yoshi! Yoshi! No! No! Okay. Yoshi! No! Yosh! Oh my God, I'm sorry, and I didn't mute. Okay, well, sorry about that. Okay, so as we tune into our heart center, let's go ahead. And today's question is, who were you 10 years ago? So take a moment just to ponder that question as you settle into your heart. All right. And adding to that, I would ask, who are you today? And who are you growing into? What part of you is the same throughout? Good. And then let's go ahead and gently bow our head to our hearts. We're going to again sweep our arms out and up overhead. And this time we're going to bring the left fingertips down, ground down through the right sit bone, reach up with the right arm. And exhaling, let's go ahead and tip it to the left. Inhale, bring it back up. And exhale, bringing that other hand down. So again, grounding down through that sit bone as you reach up with that arm. Shoulder blades down, exhaling, we tip. Good. Inhale, bring the whole thing up. This time, left fingertips come down again. We're gonna bend the right elbow as we start to bring the right hand to the left side of the head, and we gently tilt our head now to the right. Walk your left fingertips away. Breathe now into the left side of your neck, down into the arm, into the shoulders, into the fingertips. Okay, and then we'll bring the hand to the right side of the head and help our head gently up. Let's take a shoulder circle. And inhale, both arms out and up again. Left arm stays lifted. Bring your right fingertips down. Walk your right fingertips away. And we'll bend the left elbow. Take our head now to the left. Walk your right fingertips away. Now breathe along the second side. Feel it from the ear down the side of the neck, into the arms, into the fingertips. And taking that left hand to the left side of your head and help your head up. Let's circle our shoulders again. All right. From here, we're going to make those fists, circling out our wrists, and circle them the other way. And make big palms. So now using your left hand, bring all 5 of your right fingers back and gently press the fingers back towards you as you bring your elbows towards straight without locking them. Just stretching out the underbelly of that right wrist and forearm. Dig into what you find. And then you can release that. Fingertips point down. Now hands on the back of the knuckles. And gently press that in towards you to stretch out the top of the wrist and forearm. And then breathe into what you find. And then we'll just shake that out a little bit. And then again, big palms. Left palm stays broad. Use your right hand now. Get all 5 of those left fingers, including the thumb if you can. And gently bring those towards you, stretching out the underbelly of this left wrist and forearm. Again, staying with your breath, natural breath. And then fingertips point down, pressing against the knuckles towards you. Stretch out the top of the wrist and forearm. And again, let's shake it out. Good. Now keep shaking out your hands. Keep that shaking action. You got to shake off all the water and turn your palms up as you shake it out. And then shake out your elbows. Good. And then shoulders up and down. All right. Let's interlace our fingers and we make those figure eights. So try to keep your elbows quiet. So none of this. Keep the elbows quiet and just bring the movement through the wrists as you draw figure eights with the wrists. As slow or whatever speed works for you. And then just switch directions. Good. And then changing the clasp, so other thumb on top. And again, let's figure eight. And other direction. Good. And then shake it out. Okay. From here, we're gonna come on up to standing and we're gonna grab a strap. So let's come up to standing. Let me change my angle here. And you can move your blanket out of the way. So having a strap, again, you can use a belt that you wear around your waist. You can use a dog leash. You can use a necktie, anything to help extend your reach. Now, if you've got a belt of any kind that has a buckle, I recommend holding the buckle in one hand just so that it's not flailing around and hitting you. And then you can take some distance between the hands. So wait, before we go there though, sorry, take a moment, coming into our stance. So just hold the strap in one hand and let's just connect it to our connection into the earth again. So just finding your standing pose, nice hip, feet are hip width apart. And take a moment now just to look down at your feet and notice what's your feet orientation when you just think you're standing in neutral. Like, is one foot slightly ahead of the other? Is one foot turning in or out, or maybe both? And just notice that pattern. Like for me, there's a habit, like my right foot is always a little bit ahead of my left when I think I'm neutral. So just adjusting it so the feet line up and the feet are turned forward, and if you draw lines from the center of the feet, those lines are parallel. Yeah? So just get your feet lined up and find a nice comfortable stance. And then let's take a moment, just really connect into the feet. So hands on our hips. Let's go ahead and ground the balls of the big toe and the inner heels down into the floor. And here you might even want to lift your toes and spread them wide. As you do so, feel how your legs engage to do that. And then think about lifting your pinky side of the feet off the floor. As you do so, imagine you're hugging your outer shins in. And then broaden from the ball of the big toe to the ball of the pinky toe and the inner heel out to the outer heel. So broadening the soles of the feet to get all four corners of the feet down. And then you can release your toes down. So here, just notice now your connection into the earth through your feet. Notice where your weight is in your feet. So always taking a moment to really connect in with our foundation, our place of grounding. Then you can think about keeping the four corners of the feet grounded as you lift your inner arches up the feet, lift up through your inner ankles, up through your inner knees, and roll your inner thighs back. Lengthen your tailbone straight down into the earth. Let's take a big shoulder circle. Shoulder blades slide down the back body. Hug your outer shins in and your inner thighs out. Okay, now maintaining the strength and dynamic stability through your legs. We're gonna go ahead and the neutral stability in your legs. We're gonna go ahead and take the strap. So holding the buckle in one hand, and then take some distance between them, and just bring your arms out to shoulder height. So still staying connected through the feet, the legs are active. We're going to shrug our shoulder blades down the back again. Now, remember earlier we broadened the kidney band in the back body? Can you keep that back kidney band broad? Keep those front floating ribs soft, right? So don't let them jump forward. Start to pull your hands away from each other on the strap, and keep that pulling action as you inhale. Keep your shoulder blades sliding down the back body. Don't let the shoulder blades creep up. We start to take our arms up overhead, breathing. Taking your arms all the way up to wherever your edge is. Keep pulling the hands away from each other. Good. And you can take your hands up and back to wherever your edge is. And then wherever you find your edges, just pause for a moment, breathe. And again, lengthen your tailbone, broaden the back kidney band, soften the front floating ribs, breathing here. You're still pulling the hands away from each other. Shoulder blades are still sliding down the back, away from your ears. And then let's go ahead and bring the arms forward and down. Good. Again, we're gonna come back, inhale to shoulder height, pulling the hands away from each other. As you pull the hands away from each other, feel how that causes these muscles here to sort of engage. And keep your shoulder blades down. Keep that action. We're going to, again, taking the arms up overhead. Again, remember to broaden into the back. Imagine this, you're breathing out from the spine out into that back body. Keep the front ribs soft. Good. And maybe you can take it back just another inch and breathe here. The legs are active, like you're pulling your kneecaps up the legs, up the thighs. Good. And bring it forward and down again. And take a big shoulder circle when you get here. We're going to do that one more time. So again, rooting down through the feet, get your nice tall stance, lifting up tall through the spine. Bring your hands shoulder height, pull the hands away from each other, lengthen that tailbone long, breathe into your back body, front ribs are softening. And let's go ahead, pulling the hands away from each other as we take our arms up overhead. Again, take it to your edge and breathe. And now we're going to, so here, notice how your spine's nice and tall. You're going to keep your spine nice and tall. You're not bending through the spine. So from the crown of the head through the tailbone, it's a nice pole, like as imagine there's a pole keeping you nice and tall. So it's just the arms are going to move. So now it's nice and tall through the spine. As you exhale, keep pulling the hands away from each other as you slide the hands to the left. If it works, you can take that top arm behind the head. And then let's floss it back up to neutral, still pulling the hands away from each other. Nice and tall through your spine. Again, find that neutral. And then keep it nice and tall through the spine and pulling the hands away from each other as you let the hands slide to the right. So this time the left arm, top arm can maybe go behind the head if you have that range. Back up through center. One more time. We're going to exhale, floss it to the left. Nice and tall through the spine. Bring it back up through center. And then floss it over to the other side. Good. And bring the whole thing back up. Now, can you take your arms back a little bit more? Keep those shoulder blades sliding down the back body. Keep that back body broad. Keep the front floating ribs soft. And let's go ahead and release that forward and down. Let's take a big shoulder circle. Okay. All right. And then actually, let's just continue to work with the arms. So now we're going to hold this buckle in. If you got a buckle, you're going to hold the buckle in your right hand, and you're going to take your right arm up. Now, let me change the angle of the camera a little bit. So now go ahead and bring your left hand onto your tricep, so the underbelly of that upper arm, and spin the tricep in towards you. So let me bend down so you can see. So as you spin the tricep in towards you, this lifted hand starts to spin back, right? So we're getting space here at the shoulder, so between the neck and the shoulder. So go ahead and spin that palm to face back. Keep that action as you start to bend that right elbow. Bring your right hand behind you. It's holding the strap. And then you can use your left hand to slide up that back of that upper right arm, maybe towards the elbow, and just help the elbow point straight up to the sky. And maybe this is plenty for you. If this is plenty, you just keep it here and breathe here and notice what you feel. Breathe into what you feel. For those of you who want, always listening to your body and honoring it. So really see what's appropriate rather than trying to look like an idea of something. Just see what's appropriate in your body. So if it's appropriate to take it to the next step, then you can take that left arm out to the side, palm facing back, thumb pointing down, and you take the arm behind you. You bend that elbow and you can start to walk that hand. So maybe it's down here, or maybe you can start to walk the hand up the strap. And maybe for some people, you can clasp the fingers. So again, just seeing what's appropriate for you. And then again, in this position, see the tendency is to really like arch and collapse here, and then these ribs are poking forward. So if that's happening for you, again, can you breathe into this back body here, let these front ribs soften, yeah? And take another beat. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead, release that clasp and let your other arm come down. Good, and then a big shoulder circle. Again, open your mouth, wiggle out your jaw. Okay, and then we're coming into the second side. So when you're ready, second side, holding the buckle in your left hand, have the tail of the strap on the back of the hand. And then you're gonna take that left arm up. Now as you take that left arm up, bring your right hand onto the underbelly of that left tricep, so the underbelly of that upper left arm, and start to spin that tricep in towards you. As you do so, that palm starts to spin facing back, right? And you'll feel there's a broadening that happens here. Okay, so taking that, spinning that, and then when you're ready, go ahead and bend that elbow back behind you, and you can slide that right hand now up towards the elbow, helping that elbow to point straight up to the ceiling. And maybe you're just gonna pause and breathe here. This is plenty, this is great. And this is where your edge is, and you're gonna breathe into the sensations you find. If it's available, you can take that arm behind you, that lifted arm, and hold it here. That's not always available. If that's available, you can take that option. If you're taking adding the second arm, then you're going to release your right arm out to the side, palm faces back, thumb pointing down. And when you're ready, you're going to take that arm behind you, bending that elbow, and starting to walk your back hand again up the strap. So maybe it's here. And as you breathe a few rounds of breath, maybe you can walk it up a little bit, and then a little bit, and maybe someday you'll be able to clasp your fingers, or maybe for some, you can do that today. But again, try not to be too goal-oriented, but really listening to the body and honoring where it's at. And then again, if this is happening for you, then can you broaden into this space? Broaden into it, let these front ribs soften down. So nice and tall through the front and the back body. And breathing here. When you're ready, let's release the back hand and release the front arm. Let's take a big shoulder circle again. Okay. All right. From here, we're gonna go ahead, bring the strap back into the right hand. Again, you're holding the buckle, if you got a buckle, in the palm, and the tail is facing on the back of the hand. So the tail is on the back hand. So take maybe a little wider stance, just, comfortable hip width, just so you feel really solid if you're not already there. Okay, again, ground into the four corners of your feet, really get power through those legs, lifting those inner arches, roll your inner thighs back, lengthen your tailbone down, shoulder blades down. Okay, so now we're going to just open our arms out wide. Inhale. And now we are going to shine the heart forward and maybe look up a little bit. Arch forward. As you exhale, round in on yourself. Give yourself a big bear hug in. Curl it in. Inhale, open wide again. Shining forward. Opening that heart. Exhale, big hug in from the universe. Curl it in. Other arm on top. Inhale, open. So let's just pulse open and close a few times, alternating which arm is on top. Good. Okay, now the next time you inhale and open, let's bring the right arm on top as you hug it in, but keep your spine tall now, so don't round it. Just nice tall spine, just wrapping your arms in. Right arm on top, and start to walk your hands back towards your shoulder blades. So for some, maybe you can get your elbows to cross the midline. So here, my elbows are crossing the midline. If that's not happening for you, then you can just keep hugging it in, right? And everybody, whether your elbows cross the midline or not, shrug your shoulder blades down the back body again. Broaden into the back body, soften those front floating ribs. From here, if your elbows are not crossing each other, then you might just keep it here. Well, actually, we're going to straighten the top arm, the right arm out. And then let's go ahead and let's all make a right angle with the bottom left arm. Keep your torso facing straight forward, so we're not turning. You're just looking straight forward. But now you're going to keep facing forward as you use your left arm like a hook to start to slide your right arm across your body. And just breathe here. And then keep the shoulder blades down the back. Breathe. And then if it's okay, you can even turn your head to the right as you slide your right arm to the left. And then let's go ahead and gently release that and shrug it out. We're going to come back into this. So I guess we don't really need the strap just yet, but we're holding on to it. So hold the strap in your left hand, hold the buckle. Again, inhale, open your heart wide. Exhale, hug it in, curl it in. So let's pulse open and close a few times. And then feel that undulation through your spine. Looks like cat-cow, but standing. You can have your knees a little slightly bent. Good. So pulsing open and close with your breath. Take your time. Now the next time you inhale, open. Keep your spine nice and tall. As you exhale, hug the arms in with your left arm on top now. And again, walk your hands back. Try to get those elbows towards crossing the midline. Shrug your shoulder blades down the back. And then again, we're going to straighten the top left arm out. Keep your spine facing forward. Spine doesn't turn. And then use your bottom right arm as a hook. Keep your spine facing straight forward. Don't turn. And start to use your right arm to slide that left arm across you while keeping your torso oriented straight forward. Shoulder blades down. And then maybe you can spin your head to the left as you slide your left arm to the right. And let's go ahead and gently release. Again, shoulder circle. Okay, now we're going to take another variation. So if this next variation doesn't work for you, then just do what we just did. Okay, and I'll give the cueing. So again, feet are nice, comfortable width. You're nice and rooted in your stance, holding the strap, and the right hand in the buckles in the hand. Tail of the strap is on the back of the hand. Inhale, open wide. As you exhale, right arm on top. Keep your spine nice and tall. And just let the right arm cross over. Again, start to walk the hands towards the center of the, to the inner edges of the shoulder blades. Shrug your shoulder blades down the back. Now, if your elbows don't cross the midline, they're here, then you can do what we just did, right? You can slide the arm across like we just did a moment ago. If your elbows cross the midline, then you can bring the back of the hand towards each other, and then you can start to walk your bottom hand up the strap, right? But see, now if your elbows aren't crossing the midline and you're here and you do that, then you're just doing this. And then you're not really getting much, then better just to come back to this so you get that stretch between the shoulder blades. Okay, so if you are able to come into this, then you walk your hand up the strap. Or if you're able to bring the palms together, then you can bring the palms towards each other here. If you are in this arm wrap now, again, everybody broaden into your back body. Soften the front floating ribs, whichever arm position you're in. Broaden the back body, soften the front floating ribs down. But if you have the arm wrap, now can you bring your elbows up to about shoulder height? And then peel your hands away from your face and breathe here. Good. And then whichever variation you're in. Okay, so if you're in the arm wrap, you can again slide your elbows to the left. So left arm's underneath, so you're sliding the elbows left in the direction of the lower arm, and you can spin your head to the right. And then you can come back to neutral. Maybe just pulse in and out of that a few times. Elbows left, spin your head to the right. Good. And next time you come back to neutral, let's go ahead and unravel. Big shoulder circle. Okay. Second side. So you know if you need the strap. So if you need the strap, let's take it. Hold the buckle in the left hand. Tail of the strap's on the back of the hand. We're going to open our, get nice and tall through our spine, from tailbone through crown of the head. Nice tall line. Inhale, open your arms wide. Keep your spine tall. As you exhale, left arm crosses on top, and give yourself that hug in. Walk your fingertips back. Shrug your shoulder blades down. So again, option to come back into this we did earlier, or if your elbows cross the midline, then bring the back of the hands towards each other and feed that strap tail into the bottom hand. And then you can start to walk that back bottom hand up. Or if you don't need the strapping, you're able to wrap the wrist, then take the wrist wrap. Again, broaden, so none of this. So broaden the back body, soften the front ribs, and then lift those elbows up shoulder height and peel your hands away from your face. And breathe here. And again, when you're ready, you can slide those elbows now to the right. Right arm's underneath. So slide it to the right, turn your head to the left. And bring it back to neutral. If you're in this position, pulsing in and out of it a few times. And last time. Nice. And let's bring the whole thing back and release. Big shoulder circle. All right. Okay, and then let's go ahead and shake out the hands, shake out those elbows, shake out your shoulders, and just a little bit of a bounce. So just a little bounce. You can just maybe lift your heels a little bit. Yeah, if it feels good, you can wag your tail, wag your head. And if you want to pants, you can even do that. Okay, shake it out. All right, and let's go. One more. All right. From here, let's go ahead and we'll just do a half salutation. So feet can be hip width. Again, find the four corners of your feet, ground down into the earth, lifting those inner arches, inner legs lifting and rolling back. Hug the outer shins in, inner thighs out, tailbone long, shoulder blades down, crown of the head up. Navel gently in and up. Collarbones broad, heart buoyant, and inflate into this back kidney region. Shrug the shoulder blades down the back one more time. Grounding down into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up overhead. And exhaling, we're going to swan dive, bending the knees. So if you need, if it's not appropriate to really fold forward, you can have a piece of furniture like a chair. Or you can use maybe a wall. Yeah. Chair or a piece of like counter or something would be better actually than the wall for this. So hands can be on the chair or on your thighs or your shins. Lift your heart up halfway. So chair would be like this. On your thighs or shins, halfway lift. Lengthen the front body. And then exhaling, forward fold. So if you got a chair, then you just fold over the chair. We're going to in and out. Inhale, broaden the sit bones, lift the heart. Exhaling, fold. One more time, lift the heart, halfway lift. Lengthen the front spine. Exhaling, fold. Bend those knees, ground into your feet, pressing down to rise up. Inhale, rise, rise, rise. When you get to the top, this time let's clasp the right wrist, ground down through the right foot, and exhale, tip it to the left. Inhale brings us up through center, switching wrists, grounding through the left foot as we lift up through that left wrist. Exhale, tipping it to the right. Inhale up through center. Now open your arms wide and spin open to the left. Palms facing the left, thumbs pointing up. Keep your hips pointing forward as you spin your navel, your chest, your neck, your head, your gaze back. And then inhale, bring it back up through center. And exhale, open it up to the second side. Shoulder blades down. Again, do your best to keep your hips oriented forward as you spin the navel, the diaphragm, the chest, the neck, the head, the gaze back. Legs are active and strong. Inhale, bring it up through center again. And again, exhaling, let's dive. Halfway lift as you inhale. Fold as you exhale. Ground into your feet. Bring it all the way up. Inhale, palms all the way up to the top. Palms touch. And exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. Good. Okay, now let's just cycle through that a few times. So release your hands, grounding down. Inhale, we rise. Exhaling, let's dive. Use the chair if you're using it, or your hands on thighs or shins. Lift the heart up halfway. Inhale, elongate the front of the spine, shoulder blades away from your ears. Fold as you exhale. Ground into the floor, coming all the way up, rising to the top. And exhaling, diving straight through again. Lift the heart. Inhale. Fold as you exhale. Ground down to rise up. Inhale. One more time. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Inhale. Fold as we exhale. Root to rise. Coming all the way up. Palms touch at the top. And this time, exhale, slide it down in front of your heart. And take a moment. Again, press the thumbs gently against your sternum. Feel your feet rooted into the earth. Feel your legs active. Pull those kneecaps up the front of the legs. Lengthen that tailbone down into the center of the earth. Crown of the head reaching into the center of the galaxy. And breathe here. So either soften your gaze and set your gaze gently on something, or if you feel really steady and balanced, you can take a beat and even close your eyes. And just, again, tune into the heart center here. And again, just ask yourself the question, who was I 10 years ago? Who am I today? And who am I growing into? What part of me is the same? Good. And then when you're ready, you can gently blink open your eyes if they're closed and release the hands. Okay, we're going to bring it down to the floor for a final resting pose for Shavasana. So some different options for that. And we'll be here just a few moments before we turn things back over to Katie. So if you do have a chair or some kind of like an ottoman or something and you want to have your legs up on that, I'll demo that as an option. You can also have your legs up the wall as another option, or you can have your legs out and maybe something underneath your knees. So I'll demo all of those, but take the one that sounds most appealing for you. The most important thing is that you feel comfortable, well supported. Make sure you're warm enough. If you have something to cover your eyes, it's really nice to cover your eyes. So first, if you're using a chair or something to lift the legs, you can come onto the floor and then have just the back of the calves on your support, and then you got a blanket for your head. Arms can rest to the sides. And if you're cold, just make sure you have enough layers on. Put your socks on if you need. Arms rest to the sides or hands on the body. So this is one option. If you want to take the burrito crony with your legs up the wall, I like to have a little something underneath my sacrum. So if you're going to take a little lift underneath your sacrum, you get it maybe about just like, say, 3-4 inches away from the wall. And then you're going to come and sit onto that. Get your hip right up against the wall. And then you're going to start to spin yourself onto your back. And now you just got to shimmy yourself to get those sit bones as close to the wall or on the wall as you can. Then the legs can stack right over the hips, and your arms can be out to the sides or goalpost, cactus arms, or you can even clasp the elbows and have the arms up overhead if that's comfortable. So whatever works for you. Or if you want to take a regular shavasana, just on the floor, have something for your head. And then if you do have maybe some rolled up blankets or cushions or blocks, you can have those underneath your knees. That always helps to release the low back a bit. So especially if you've got low back stuff, they're really good to have something supporting, lifting you underneath the knees. And then again, palms up or hands on the body. So take a moment to arrive into your final resting pose and allow yourself to settle in here. So as you arrive, let's all take another deep breath in through the nose. Clear it out through your mouth. Again, let's make some sound. So inhaling, and as you exhale, ah. Again, inhaling. Sound of the heart. One more. Just notice how soothing that is for the heart. Continue sounding if that feels good for you, a few more rounds, or if you feel done with that, then allow your mouth to be soft, soften the tongue, allow the teeth and the lips to remain slightly parted. As you allow your tongue to be soft and broad, soften the back of the throat, dome of the mouth spacious. Soften the muscles around your eyes, the muscles on the forehead. Again, any remaining thoughts or concerns, just let them melt off into the earth. Soften the inner corners of the eyes. Soften the space between your eyebrows. Allow your eyeballs to begin to gently sink towards the back of the skull. Bring your inner gaze to rest into your heart center. You're welcome to stay here as long as you need, as long as you like. So when you decide to come out, just move gently. Don't disturb the nervous system. Hopefully my dogs don't bark anymore. And I'm going to turn things back over to Katie. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Kat, for another wonderful session. That was really great. Well, did you know that having strong friendships is beneficial to your health? Having friends can lower your stress and decrease your risk of heart issues. This series of Reach and Read is focused on self love, compassion, and openness to help grow your skills to be a better friend. We just wrapped up the 10 questions in the book, Share Your Stuff, I'll Go First, 10 Questions to Take Your Friendships to the Next Level by Laura Tremaine. So now we're going to pivot and use her podcast, 10 Things to Tell You, as a guide. The first question from her podcast is, who were you 10 years ago? You may ask this question to people who didn't know you 10 years ago. For those who did know you then, talk about what life was like and reflect on your growth. A lot can happen in a decade. You may have been 10 years old to 20 years old, or 20 years old to 30 years old, and those are radically different times in one's life. What was happening in the world that impacted you? What did you think of the 2013 version of yourself? What advice do you have for them? Thinking of where we've been and how we've grown helps us guide where we go. So, who were you 10 years ago? Share your stuff. I'll go first. 10 Questions to Take Your Friendships to the Next Level by Laura Tremaine is available in audio, ebook, and physical formats in the library collection right now, so you can check it out for yourself. And thank you again for joining us for Reach and Read, and a big thank you to Kat. We'll be back next Thursday, March 30th at 10 a.m., so we hope to see you then. So to find a library location near you, sign up for a library card, or to learn about upcoming programs for all ages, just go to www.saclibrary.org. So for Kat, myself, and the Sacramento Public Library, thank you so much and be well.